Hi, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. My coffee is here in front of me. I'm here with Alex, my guest today. Alex, really pleased to have you on. Alex is a keynote speaker and executive coach. He's a global movement leader, and he's the VP of the BIPOC Coach Collective and a partner at Black Leaders Worldwide. A man with a really impressive CV. So I'm really looking forward to the discussion we're going to have today. Alex, welcome to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee.
Hey, great morning, Stuart. Thank you for this invitation. Looking forward to this conversation.
Terrific. Well, look, let's start with the reason that we're here, Alex. Who are the people you're trying to help? You've got an impressive CV. You're working with some impressive people. Who are those people that you're trying to help? What's the main problem they face in their business and personal lives?
Yeah, great question. A lot of my work has been centered around Black executive men, BIPOC leaders of color. So sometimes they've been in corporate spaces, sometimes they're entrepreneurs, so they're coaches, consultants, things of that nature. And there's some specific challenges that they're having. Some of them look like this, where leaders in this case can feel isolated. They can feel lonely because they may be the only one in the room that looks like them. They may be going to boardrooms or having these conversations in C-suite, and they're trying to crack, either get in that room, or if they're already in there, they're like, well, I'm the only one here. Maybe I'm not going to be respected. Maybe I'm not going to be accepted, which is a big challenge. They have this fear of failure, right? They're carrying this pressure of, I have to succeed so that generations down the line have opportunities too. And I'm a big proponent of that. I really believe in making sure we focus on the generational impact, but not to the degree where it sabotages ourselves, where we harm ourselves to be perfect, to get everything right. Because
Mm,
Stuart, if you're like me, you make mistakes, you flub, you mess up things, and then you regroup and recover. And unfortunately, out here in America, there's that challenge of, if you do mess up, if you're a person of color, then there's that stigma attached, like, oh, maybe he wasn't good enough, maybe she wasn't smart enough, maybe we rushed her into this promotion, maybe he's not really built for this yet. And so there is that pressure to perform, but at the same time, I look at helping them expand their dreams, right? The dreams of this generational impact, of breaking these generational curses, of achieving the financial freedom that is vital for our lives. So, right? If someone says, "Hey, money's not important," like, let's just get back into reality for a second. Money's pretty important to support a lifestyle, and support
yeah,
different
yeah.
ventures that they have. And really, the big dream is embracing their authenticity, right? Just
Hmm.
being themselves, showing up, and feeling the weight release, feeling the pressure gone, and they know that they can do their best work without this weight on them. So those are the type of things that I work on with clients in one-on-one or in groups. And these are the secret dreams, the secret fears that sometimes they don't want to admit, but it's there. It's what gets in the way most times of really breaking through, ascending to their next level of success.
Alex, tell me, you've talked and talked passionately there about getting away from some of those sort of barriers that inhibit. I know you must look at some of these leaders and think, well, these are the things you're doing wrong, and I'll get to that in a minute. But how did you overcome some of those problems yourself? How did you manage to break through from where you were into where you are now?
Yeah, great question. There's a combination of things. One, I would say coaching was one of the big, maybe the biggest influence of helping me just see life differently, because I came from a background of middle class, youngest of four children. So I like to say that my parents saved the best for last. But I grew up not feeling important, feeling invisible, being in different spaces where I didn't feel heard, I didn't feel seen. And what I saw as the difference was the quality of questions I would ask myself when I was younger,
Hmm.
going into young adulthood, all these different things. I would ask myself questions like, why is life this way? Why can't I have this? Why isn't this meant for me? Or why can't I be here? And those aren't bad questions, but what I found was a space to ask myself empowering questions. Questions like, well, what do I want to create from this? Hmm. What do I want to choose to do here? Who's available or what is available that can help me and that can serve me? How can I contribute? Right. That helps. That's helped me move forward. So coaching and mentorship has been a big part. And I would say the other big uh, revelation or the big influence in my life has been my wife. My wife Sarah. We've been together now for 18 years, married for 14, and she is one of the first people outside of my family, and friends, but someone who really helped me anchor and ground myself and see possibility. And
Wow.
I like to say it like this: if I could see a possibility, then I could be in the possibility. If I
Good.
don't see an option, if I don't believe that there's an opportunity for me, then the obstacles are just going to be all I see. That's going to be in front of my face, and I won't be able to advance.
That's great news. That's great. Jules, just giving you a big up there, Alex, with Go Alex. So I'm pleased. Jules, thank you for watching in. So we were talking a little bit about some of the leaders you're trying to help. Tell me, what is it they've done before they sort of turn to the sort of advice, coaching that you can bring to them and help them? How have they tried to effectively? How have they tried to
Yeah.
solve their own
Uh,
problem?
yeah. They've gone down a road that I've gone down when I was in
Yeah.
nonprofit leadership for 10 years, where one, I would say they would try too hard, right? Just try to force, like I mentioned before, the pressure. They might look like working long hours, less sleep, kind of getting on the grind, 5 a.m. wake up, 2 a.m. go to sleep, right? And just having this unhealthy attachment and really addiction to trying to be successful and sacrificing time with family, sacrificing their own health journey, sacrificing if they're a person of faith or spiritual practice, right? Because they have to get it done, they have to achieve, they have to make the thing happen. Another challenge that I see for them, and I laugh because this is my life for many years of not asking for help. Of I should know this already. I'm
Yeah.
in this position. If I ask, then someone's gonna know that I don't know the answer, and then I'll look stupid,
Mhm.
and then they don't trust me, and right, all these things that we make up in our heads, and that's that breeds resentment, that breeds gossiping, and some workplace things are real. You might hear the term microaggressions, you might hear the term, uh, you know, I, I can't think of the other words right now, but just stay with me on this, right? The resentment, the gossiping, and that energy attaches itself to you, right? If I'm thinking about this manager, oh, I don't like her, or I don't like him, he's always doing this to me, right? We come back into this victim place. This is where
Mm.
the men and clients I've worked with, that's where they struggle the most when they're putting their attention on what this person's doing and what they're up to and how they affected them. And really, let's not victim blame, right? It's not shame, but let's take responsibility. What am I doing? Who am I being? Where
Yeah.
am I
Yeah.
coming from
Yeah.
when I'm in this process or in this scenario?
Yeah, yeah, it's true, isn't it? We so often, and I see this with business leaders. They're focusing on, what is it they're doing, and they choose to respond in a negative way to something, and you sort of say, well, the choice was entirely yours. You can choose one of two paths, and you always seem to choose the one that's somehow destructive to yourself. It is about taking that choice and making that decision to say no. Like you said, your wife helped you to see if there's a path that will take you better. Take the path that will take you better, even if somebody else is doing something. Don't worry about it. You have to choose that path.
Yeah, it doesn't diminish it. It doesn't. I say it like this from the stage: just because you can do anything doesn't mean you have to do everything,
Yes,
right?
agreed.
And for
Absolutely
someone
wonderful.
watching, someone listening, I want you to really like put a finger in your ear so it doesn't go out and doesn't go in and go out the other, right? You can do anything.
Yeah,
You're more than capable, you're highly qualified, you have a track record of success, but recognize there's other people in the space who can serve you, that can help you, that can actually get you there faster than you can do on your own, and with more ease and more
Brilliant.
grace. And at the end of the day, who doesn't want to have more fun in the success process, right? This in our on our destination. It doesn't have to be this, oh goodness, I got to do it all myself and I'm self-made. Nobody that I've ever met has been self-made, and if they are, then they won't admit it because they're probably in the self-destructive mode and they can't see it.
Yeah, I love that, Alex. I really do love that. And I suppose my own journey, I was a scientist long before I started out in business. And I worked out very early on that I was standing on the shoulders of giants because they'd come before me and worked out principles that I was just going to extend. So I've never, ever understood this belief that somehow to be successful, you have to be self-made, because as far as I can see, we're all standing on somebody else's successes and somebody else's movement. And even if you only add a small amount to that, as long as you add in the right way, that takes you forward. It takes everybody forward. You can lift everybody out. I do find it disappointing that people don't see that they can actually sort of take the positives and move things forward. Let's just turn to one of the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to throw this analogy out where someone told this to me a long time ago about this principle of being self-made and doing it all yourself. And they asked me, how many people does it take to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich? And my initial response was like, oh, it was me. I just take the bread. And he's like, well, did you make the bread?
Yeah.
Did you package it?
Yeah.
Did you do all these things? Were you the blacksmith that forged the knife, the butter knife, right? So there's a lot more out there. There's a lot more people who are contributing to your success than you believe.
Absolutely brilliant. Love the analogy. Have you got a valuable piece of advice? And I'm sort of going to put your website here. Have you got a valuable piece of advice or something that you'd leave with people that you can direct them to that would help them in their journey to take on some of the stuff that you're talking about?
Yeah, one of the things I would share with them is free audio that I've recorded. It's called Everybody Wins: 3 Mistakes That Leaders Make. And it kind of touches on some of the things we spoke about earlier, where the pressure to perform, the loneliness, the hiding, the not asking for help. These are the things that get in the way of making innovative change, of what I love to call generational impact and uplifting communities. And this is a free audio gift. It's something I give away when I talk. So another way that I can be of use is come book me to speak for your team, for your organization. My talk is the win-win communicator. It's a new way for leaders to listen, and it's coming from a place of not necessarily the tools of like, you got to actively listen and make sure I really look at it from a space of like your state of being. Who are you when you're listening to people? What are the biases that you're holding? What's the chatter inside of you that is blocking you from connecting with somebody? And one of my signature phrases that I love to say is build a bigger bubble. And this kind of goes into the premise of you can do anything, but you don't have to do everything. So building a bigger
Great.
bubble, meaning expanding, having a dream, having a vision so big that your team, your family, anybody around you can see themselves inside of it, and they actually start to champion you. They start to advocate. They start to be your evangelist of, man, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Who doesn't love following somebody or being on a journey with somebody who's up to something big, right? Who's up to
Yeah.
a huge, a bigger, larger than life vision. And it might seem impossible, but it's only impossible till we do it.
Brilliant. I've put the link to that, which is on your website. I'll just read it out for those people who are unable at the moment to write anything down, but this will be in the show notes, people. It's at https://www.Alexander Dumas Coaching. That's obviously Alexander Dumas. You can probably work out.
But
Sorry,
technically
Alex Dumas.
Alexon, like I'm after, yeah, after the author,
Alex Dumas
Alexon
Coaching.
Dumas.
AlexDumasCoaching.com/F/everybody-wins. So that's AlexDumasCoaching.com /f/everybody wins. That'll be in the show notes. Go and download that audio. It's a free piece of content Alex gives away. So Alex, thank you for that. Alex, was there a particular book or a program
You're welcome.
that you would leave as a valuable thought that sort of started you thinking about this? You've mentioned your wife. There are other things that must have sort of begun to sort of make you the man you are today.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. One speech in particular comes to my mind is from Les Brown. It's his famous "You got to be hungry," right? It
Yeah,
was, I think, he was in the Georgia Dome. It was sometime probably in the late '80s, maybe early '90s, and it's a speech that I've first watched probably 2014, maybe 2015, and to me, in my opinion, is the best speech I've ever seen, ever written. Like I've to this day, right? I still come to it, and I still find inspiration from it. I still find nuggets from it. So that as part of an audio and seeing myself, right, seeing that model and having this vision, this dream for myself of maybe I could do that. What would it be
yeah,
like if I were in front of a stadium full of people? MetLife Stadium. I'm from New York originally, so I think about Giant Stadium. Like, wow, what would it be like if I could be there, or Madison Square Garden? So that's one piece of content. The other book that I would say has greatly influenced my work as a coach is called The Prosperous Coach. That was written by Steve Chandler and Rich Litvin, and it helped me. It connected with me in a space that it helped me slow down and look at authentic connections with people, because a lot of my early work as a coach was kind of spray and pray, kind of hunt and try to kill and get attention, look at me, and be impressive. And what I recognize is this distinction of me being impressive doesn't allow this other person to be expressive. And when I work with clients, when I work with people, the thing they really want the most to know is just, do you understand me? Do you get me? Do you see me? Do you understand where I'm coming from? And if I can do that and create a safety for themselves to, just kind of share a little bit more and shed the skin and get the pretenses on and really get down to who they are and what they're looking to do, miracles occur. That's the best way I can call it. So Prosperous Coach and that Les Brown talk, You Got to Be Hungry, have been two massively influential pieces of content that have shaped who I am.
Alex, thank you so much. Alex, thank you for spending a few minutes with us. And I guess at the moment you must be thinking there's a question that he hasn't asked, and he really should have asked it by now. So, what's the question that I should have asked you? And obviously, if you're going to ask a really intelligent question like that, you better give us a really good answer to it. So, what is the question that you really don't think that I have asked properly?
No, this one isn't your fault specifically, but I think a great
Well, thank you.
question that right, I don't want to put the blame game on but all jokes aside, I think the valuable question here would be, how do we help Black leaders, Black and Brown leaders ascend? Right? I
Mm,
think that's a great question that could be asked, and lucky for you, I have an answer for that. And that specifically is a one-on-one container that I've created called Ascension. So play on words. You can be like, "Oh my goodness, Alex, you're cheeky." Yeah, all right, I'm clever. I love to do fun things like that. But Ascension this is a 12-week intimate conversation with somebody and looking at helping them advance in their career, and helping them to develop themselves as leaders, helping them to build the best practices of building relationships and networking and building their confidence and looking at their life's work. I don't necessarily subscribe to this thought of work-life balance, because here I am right now. I'm speaking with you, Stuart. That means I'm ignoring my family. I'm ignoring my kids, not because I'm bad or I'm a mean dad, but because my attention is focused on you and my work, and also for you, whoever's watching, whoever's listening. My impact right now, I'm focused on you, and then when I'm done, I'll be complete, and I'll move on to my family. But the things we've spoken about before, about how do we make impact, how do we embrace ourselves authentically, how do we create financial freedom, these are pieces of what ascension looks like. And it's going to be this elite edge for Black men in business, this opportunity for them to just have that thing, that one thing that separates them. I don't want to say the competition, but separates them from holding themselves back. And it's a beautiful offering that I'd love to invite anyone listening to experience for themselves and create major awareness and breakthroughs for their life and their business. So that's how we can help people ascend.
Alex, I love the fact that you've been cheeky about that, and thank you for having a clever answer to a question that I didn't ask properly. So, Alex, I really want to thank you for spending a few minutes with us. I know now you can go and take your focus off talking to silly people like me, and you can go and concentrate on something important like your family and your kids. And I know you've got two kids, I think, haven't you? So you can get out there and you can go and enjoy your time with them rather than be focusing on us. But thank you for spending a few minutes with us and telling us a bit about how you have overcome those thought processes and how you're helping others to do exactly the same thing to plow that path. Listen, people, I'm going to wrap up with Alex now because he's got other things to do. If you would like to hear from me every week with an update on who's coming on to the show next week, I send out one every week. And if you want to do that, if you can go to the HTTP thing, link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk. That's link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/newsletter. You can come on and spend a few minutes just listening to really inspiring talking points from people as inspiring as Alex. And Alex, I want to just thank you for coming on and spending a few minutes. Really appreciate the effort you've taken, and I wish you get out and spend some time with your kids because they're as important as anything else you're doing at the moment.
No, much appreciated. And I'll say this, there's nothing been silly about this conversation. I love the questions. I love your energy, and thank you for inviting me onto this program and for my work. If this is influential, this is supporting, at least one person, all right? That sounds like a cliche, but really, if it helps moves one person, then I've done my job. I've served in a way that I know how to do best, and I'm gonna spend some time with the family, then get back to doing what I do best, making a difference and contributing.
I'm with you on that, Alex. If we can help one person, that's one person that we've pushed a little bit further, and who knows, they will take us on further. So thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.